And welcome to Sports Weekly, where we talk about all kinds of sports. And I am with Prince D.
And we are here with Lars the Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
All right, so that was a really good introduction of Lars.
Hey, listen, in Sports Weekly, this is how we introduce our guests, okay, Lars? And you know what? Actually, you are technically our first fighter on the show, on studio. So you know what? We got to do it big, right?
I appreciate it.
Seconded.
Yes.
All right.
Carlene wasn't a fighter.
Oh.
I guess I'm a former fighter.
Listen, you are a fighter always because you're a fighter in life. Right?
And love.
Give me the recent, give me the pound cakes, baby.
All right, this is a love show. No, this is a sports show. So we talk about Teddy Atlas. He had a tweet. He said, once you became a champion, you get 30% better. So do you guys agree with that? I guess we start with Lars because he's the guest. Let him start with, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think he's right. I think he specifically said it about Leon Edwards and Kamaru Usman recently.
Yes.
And I think that they say fighting is 90% mental. So once you can get over that hump, especially with a guy like Kamaru, who is like pound for pound best, you might not fully believe you can beat him. But then once he became champ, you saw the way he just dominated him the second time. So yeah, I think Teddy's right.
Okay, you know what? All the stats lean towards yes, right? I mean, for example, you've got John Jones, who's defended his title 13 times successfully.
Yeah.
But you know what? Okay, statistically. Yes, okay, like you do get better, but I mean, as a fighter, like you kind of, I don't know, like after John Jones became a champ, there was a little bit of a stint where he kind of like didn't do well. Like he kind of, you remember Gustafsson, he had a fight with him and he almost lost, right? And people were starting to see, okay, there's kind of like loops in this game. Like there was something where he kind of got used to the limelight. He got used to being champ. No one can test me. Sometimes you have those issues where like you kind of get used to, being on top and you don't train as hard, right?
I think it's like longevity, right? So like when you first win it, your first like 3 fights, I'd say you get better. But then after a while, like you start to feel the weight of the championship, right? There's a lot of things you have to do, media, interviews, all that sorts of thing beforehand. I think after a while, that like it seems like it really weighs on guys, and then I can see it kind of dropping off. But I know what you're saying. But I think originally for the first once they win it and the first couple of fights, I'd say I think they get 30% better.
Yeah, I think I agree with him though, because I agree with certain. Because even Aljamain, remember when he got his belt, like he was getting wrecked. Yeah. And then the next fight, he was totally different fighter.
Yeah.
And that's the difference between, I guess, when it comes to fighter, like I'm not, I'm a Muay Thai fighter. It's not really, I'm just joking.
We get two and three. You get two and
So let me put it first. So, but when it comes to a fighter, it's any edge, anything, like for even having a belt can help your confidence.
Okay, you know what? Maybe I don't know if Atlas kind of meant something else. Did he mean like 30% better as a fighter or 30% better as an individual as a whole?
Now he talking about
get groceries and he's just killing it.
No, I didn't get it. They're like, look, I'm 100% off. No, I mean like as a whole, like, are you getting better? Like, are you performing better like outside of the ring? Are you?
No, you said like everything you start increasing once you became a champ.
So that's what. Okay, so if that's what he means, like, do people improve when they become champions? Like, do they actually become better people, or do they even become worse? Like, do they?
I mean, the confidence is probably higher, right? But I think it's as simple as like, if I'm going to throw a jab at you, I know that like I'm doing something offensive, but defensively I'm opening myself up, right? Mm-hmm. So it makes you second guess yourself. So I think when you're a champ, and you have that high confidence, you might not be thinking about that. Oh, when I go to hit this guy, it's opening myself up to be hit as well. So I think you just like you're not second guessing as much, maybe. Yeah.
And then I guess the pressure is totally different.
Yeah.
So that's one of the. And another good example is Timothy Bradley. Timothy Bradley, he lost that fight against Manny Pacquiao.
Yeah.
But he got the belt. Yeah. And he got better since even Manny Pacquiao said like, oh man, I'm shocked. Like this Timothy Bradley versus Pacquiao second, he even said like, I'm shocked he got a little better. And after that fight, he beat Ruslan and Marquez, and Marquez just knocked out Manny Pacquiao. So this is that's I guess for any athletes is any edge will help anything.
Yeah, especially at the top. Like, those guys are so close to each other. It's just any percentage go.
You know what? And just going back to Edwards, it's just like you see him against the rematch against Usman, and you totally see a different fighter. Like I watched it, I'm like, who is this guy? Because everyone knew that he was gonna get walked on, right? Listen, the odds were against him. They're like, Usman's gonna take this guy out. Now that he's got the belt, it's like, holy crap, this guy, who's gonna take this guy out now?
Yeah.
Right. So,
yeah. But outside boxing, because like there's basketball, football. Do you think any champions increase 30% more? Because it's hard for other sports, right, to win again, especially football. So what do you guys think about that?
Oh, sorry, Lars, go ahead. Yeah. You know what? I mean, in team sports, it's a little bit different, right? Because I mean, you become a champ, and we'll take for example Toronto Raptors, 2019 NBA champions. You know, we had our money banked; they were going to win it again next year, right? But you know, you lose some pieces, right? As hard as you try and train, sometimes when your stars align, that's how you manage to swing the most impossible, right? You know what I mean? Because think about it, since we're Sports Weekly, and aside from fighting, there's when the Raptors took it, KD got injured, right? Like half the Golden State bench was not playing at full potential. You know, our players were all playing at peak levels. Like technically that was the time. If we were going to win it, that was it, right? In team sports, I think it's just a little bit different just because everyone's mindsets is like different, right? And some people are not even looking at wanting to win again. They're looking at when's my next contract. I want the next side mill. So for them, it's just like, okay, I'm done this year. I want to go somewhere else, right? Kind of thing. And so sometimes you lose that team type of dynamics. Once you win the championship, everyone's looking at where do I go next? Where do I get the next money, right? And like, for example, Leonard didn't stay. Like we're in the Kawhi and die. No one, like, you know what I mean? So that's what I think.
What about 5-on-5 MMA? What do you think?
I think, I mean, I could see in two different directions. I think when they win a championship, a lot of the role players seem to like get big egos and want to expand their roles. But also, I think like there is that championship glow, and I think when like in basketball, like I love basketball, so in basketball, in those last like 5 minutes when it's a tight game, and you've already like the season before pulled out multiple times in that instance and pulled out wins, you're in that situation and you have the confidence that you know you're going to be able to pull out another win, right? So I think that goes a long way. So I think it probably just. Team sports there's so many different dynamics going on, right? Whereas fighting, it's just what one guy thinks. So I think, there's a lot of different levers being pulled, I guess, in team sports, and I guess it depends a little bit more on the team and the camaraderie.
That's it. And then when you're fighting, they just focus on one guy, and you've got 10 people watching you, right? Jits guy, striking coach, right? Defensive coach. Right, you have everybody, all these guys that's watching you, so they just focus on one. But in team sports, you just don't know where everyone's at.
The problem in fighting, and Ben, is like the people around you, right? Like you win the championship belt, the family members you've never heard about are going to start popping up out of nowhere.
That's
those are going to be those are the distractions that come with being a champion. And I think that's why, like we were saying before, it starts to weigh on guys, right? So like that, I think, like what you said, that first 30% comes like right when they win it, but after a while, that the weight of the belt and the realities kick in. Yeah.
So I guess it can go both ways.
Yeah.
For when it comes to sports. But when we come back, we're gonna talk to Carlene about her career. So stay tuned.